Hi, my name is Samantha, and this is my speech on why Americans should stop shopping at large corporations and instead should start supporting local farms, farmers markets, and cooperative businesses. A few months ago, I attended a protest held by Starbucks workers held outside a corporate office building in Newport Beach. Employees and allies like myself stood outside the corporate office building holding signs demanding for fair wages, better working conditions, stable schedules, and better work treatment. Seeing workers fight for basic respect made me realize how much power large corporations have over ordinary people. One personal story that stood out to me was the story of Starbucks union worker organizer Casey Flessier. According to an article published by the Time magazine on March 18, 2022, Flessier spoke out after workers experienced scheduling issues and fewer work hours, organizing for a better workplace environment and conditions. Her story is just one of many examples of how corporations place profits before people. Within my speech, I want to try and teach and persuade you on why Americans should stop supporting large corporations and instead should prioritize shopping at local farms, farmers markets, and cooperatives that provide healthier food and strengthen our own communities. The issues presented within this speech affect every person listening. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's 2025 report on ultra-processed foods, approximately 70% of the American food supply consists of ultra-processed food products that have been linked to obesity, cardiovascular disease, and type 2 diabetes. Today, I will discuss the problem within the corporate-controlled food system, examine the causes behind the declining food quality, and finally, propose solutions that can help us create a healthier community and build a stronger economy. First, let's examine the problem. Most Americans shop for groceries at large corporate grocery chains, such as Kroger, Walmart, and Target, and also large restaurant companies, blindly trusting how much control these companies have over the food that we consume. While corporations may advertise convenience, health, and affordability, many of the foods stocked on store shelves are heavily processed and designed to maximize profits over public health. When I walk through the grocery store, I see entire shelves dedicated to junk foods that are packed with preservatives, additives, artificial flavors, and excessive amounts of sugar and sodium. The shelves are stocked with chips, cookies, prepackaged lunch, and meats filled with preservatives. These products are cheaper to manufacture, easier to advertise to families, and can remain on the shelves for months without expiring. Meanwhile, fresh fruits and vegetables and locally produced foods are left in the dark, receiving far less attention. The result is a food system where convenience is often placed before health and nutrition. It seems that to large corporations, profits are often placed before people. They have convinced Americans that highly processed foods and fast foods are the standard and even in some cases healthy. As time progresses, the rates of obesity, diabetes, and heart disease and other chronic illnesses in the U.S. continue to rise. This problem leads me to explore the causes. The first cause is the corporate's food industry's dependence on ultra-processed foods. According to the researchers of National Institutes in a study published on May 16, 2019, participants eating ultra-processed foods consume significantly more calories and gain significantly more weight than those placed on a minimally processed diet. The researchers also found that participants eating ultra-processed foods consumed approximately 500 calories more per day than those on the unprocessed diet. Think about that. 500 more calories per day versus the already 2,000 that the FDA recommends. That adds up to thousands of extra calories per week. This demonstrates that several foods are heavily marked up by large corporations and are continuing to contribute to the obesity and other health conditions regarding to many millions of Americans. The second cause is that corporations are driven to maximize profits over food, nutrition, health, and people. According to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's 2025 report on ultra-processed foods, these poorly produced products now make up to roughly about 70% of the American food supply. The FDA states that researchers have linked these foods to obesity, cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, certain cancers, and other negative health outcomes. Corporations produce these foods for cheap, package them to advertise to families, and mark them up at high profits. While shareholders benefit financially, regular Americans like you and myself often pay the price through increasingly highly marked up food prices, declining health, and increasing medical costs. While some critics may argue that corporations provide affordable food, convenience, and create jobs, that may be true, but it loses its value when it comes to the cost of public health. Cheap foods are not truly cheap if Americans later have to pay the price down the road for progressively more expensive food prices, doctor visits, medications, and illness. Despite this, fortunately, there are solutions. One solution is supporting local farms and farmers markets. According to the U.S. Department of Agriculture's local food systems create an important economic opportunity for farmers, ranchers, and consumers alike. When we buy directly from local farmers, we gain access to fresher foods that spend less time being processed, packaged, and transported. We also help keep money circulating within our own local economies and communities instead of sending our profits to large corporations and not knowing where our dollar goes. Another solution is supporting cooperative businesses and community-owned businesses. According to the National Cooperative Businesses Association, cooperatives operate according to the principle of concern for community and are designed to serve the needs of their consumers rather than maximize profits for outsiders. Unlike large corporations, cooperatives allow employees and consumers to have a voice in business decisions. They prioritize people, the local economy, and community health. By choosing cooperatives, farmers markets, and farmers and locally owned businesses, we can help build a stronger, healthier food system that values health and fairness over corporate profit. This solution begins with us taking the first step. Every time we shop for groceries or even purchase a coffee, we are casting a vote for the type of food system that we want. If consumers begin spending their dollar at cooperatives, farmers, and farmers markets, large corporations will have no choice to respond and start to reply to the growing demand of healthier food options and better work treatment. Today, I have discussed the problem of large corporate control over our food system. I've explored the causes behind the declining food quality, and I have proposed solutions centered on the local economy, pointing consumers to shop at local farmers markets, buying from farmers directly, and supporting locally owned and cooperative businesses. The next time you walk into a grocery store, ask yourself this simple question: am I supporting a cooperation that prioritizes me, the people, or profit? Real change does not exist within an already corrupt corporation. It starts with ordinary people like you and I making different food buying options. By supporting local farms, farmers markets, and cooperatives, we can create a stronger food system that values health, fairness, and a stronger local economy over corporate profit. Thank you for listening to my speech today. Thank you.